People who are pretty sure they've encountered a serial killer. What happened? 1. I had an employee that worked for me doing minor maintenance repairs on construction equipment. One day it just took him way too long on a job, and I was pissed. I pulled the GPS info and he was nowhere near where he was supposed to be. My admin and I both called him repeatedly with no response. Now I'm even more pissed because this wasn't the first time he took too long and didn't answer his company-provided radio. We start digging. Find out it has happened repeatedly. He gets back late and I waited for him alone in my office. I terminated him and he took it surprisingly well. Surprised me because I dealt with a ton of BS as a woman working in a male-dominated field and company. Few years later, I'm working in a different location for the same company, and some cops show up and want to know what I remember about him. I tell them I fired him, etc. They subpoena the GPS records from the company. Then they started finding the rest of the bodies. He pled down and pled guilty to avoid the death penalty. He was picking up prostitutes in the company work truck, killing them and dumping bodies in a rural part of the neighboring county. 2. I grew up in a small town in North Wales, UK. The local cinema had been closed for 15 years, but a guy from out of town had reopened it. As kids, this blew our minds, as it was a rural area with very little to offer in terms of entertainment, so it seemed unbelievable to us that we would actually have a cinema in town. On one visit to the cinema, I ended up needing to use the toilet during a film, so I left the theater, walked through the foyer and into the toilet. There was no toilet paper, so I went back into the foyer and spoke to the cinema owner to ask if he had any toilet paper. I was younger than 10 at the time and very nervous about speaking to adults. But the owner was incredibly kind and friendly. He gave me the toilet paper. And we had a conversation about the film and how happy I was that we now had a cinema in the town. I used the toilet, then went back into the theater. A few weeks later, the friendly cinema man was on the front page of every newspaper. He was Peter Moore.